Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, welcome to a new video. I thought this video would be helpful for some other people, and I guess what I'll do is I'll jump straight in and demonstrate what it is I'm looking to resolve or to show you how to solve here. So I'm using a Corsair case that has the matching RGB fans, the AIO pump and cooler, and the memory as well. As you can see, now this all uses a Corsair node that all the stuff's plugged into at the back, and it uses the Corsair IQ software application to control all the fans and stuff like that. Here's a situation: if I press the power button to put the computer to sleep, notice everything goes white. I'll explain that in a second. But the computer is going to go to sleep now. That's it, sleeping. You can see the fans are all coming to a stop. Power supply is cut off, and yeah, everything's all off except the memory. You can see that the RGB Corsair Vengeance Pro memory is still on. Now technically, I'm just going to bring it back out of sleep. Technically the memory is still on. When you put a computer to sleep, the memory stays active. That's how it remembers the kind of active state of your applications and stuff like that. Notice it was all white again there, and now it comes back into the colour. Now let me first of all explain the situation with the colours and why everything went white there, and then why it was white when it was on sleep mode as well. The things you have plugged into the lighting node, you know, for the IQ software, they have in essence two profiles on them. They have a hardware profile and they have a software profile. The hardware profile is what the fans and the equipment does when the software is not running. So when you power the computer on, when it goes to sleep, or whenever you just close the application, that's what happens. And then it has a software profile, and that's what happens when the IQ software is running. So at the moment you can see the fans and stuff, they're all colourful and going through the cycles and stuff like that. Now that's the profile that I have set up for when the software is running. If I just close the software just now, just quit that, what you'll see is that all the gear defaults to the hardware profile, and the hardware profile that I've set up for all of these devices is just to display white. So when I power the computer on, it's white. When I shut the computer down, it's white. And if I was to stop the IQ software from starting with the machine, it would be white as well, just like you see there. I've closed the application, it's white. And now I've relaunched the application, it's gone back to the colours that it's cycling through. Now on the application you can see here that it's running. I'm using scenes. So there's one scene there, you can pick all sorts of different scenes and mess around with all this sort of stuff if you want to do that. I really just keep it on one of these ones that cycles through the colours here just now. But obviously when I put the computer to sleep, it defaults to the hardware profile and the memory stays lit up. Now really, to solve the problem of putting the computer to sleep and having the memory not light up, now for some people that might not be a problem, but if you put your computer to sleep quite a lot, or you put your computer to sleep quite a lot and you have it in the room that you actually sleep in as well, then having that memory lit up overnight could be a bit of a nuisance if you have a transparent case like this one as well. So really the way to get around about this is we set it up so that the hardware profile for the memory is basically off, and here's how we do that. So you can see the kind of three hardware controls I've got in here. I've got the RGB Pro, so that's the memory. We've got the lighting node core, this is the one that the fans are plugged into, so I've got 6 fans from the front of the case here, an exhaust fan and the 2 on the AIO radiator. And then we have the Platinum SEs, this H100i, that's really just a pump that you see sitting on the CPU there. So what we're going to do is hover over the RGB Pro for the memory. Now the lighting effects one, it doesn't say it, but the lighting effects is the software one. So if I click onto lighting effects, you'll see that, well, it's telling me just now it's disabled because it's all being controlled by scenes, but you know, you can disable scenes and then configure all this so that it's what happens when the software runs. But what we're going to do just now is just go to the hardware lighting tab. Now what you will see is the memory has changed. So when you're in this screen of configuring the lighting, the changes you make will be reflected as you work on it there. I'll just show you, so you can see it's all white just now, but if I was to just come back out of that, to go back to home, it goes back to cycling through the colours again. So I'm going to go to the memory, hardware lighting, it's going to go white again because we're starting to configure it. And this is good because it means we can see the impact of the changes we're going to make. Now I've kept it fairly simple and have a static colour here, so I'm just going to click on the static colour. It's a custom preset for all of the dims. You can configure it by module if you have multiple modules if you wanted to do that. And then we'll click on the colour. So if I click onto this colour palette here, simply all I'm going to do is drag the brightness all the way down to 0. So we want the R, G and B to say 0. And you can see straight away it's turned off all the lights on the modules themselves there. So I don't think there's a save or an apply button here. I think that change just happens as you're working on it. So if I click on home, it goes back to the colours again, and that's what I'm looking for. Now if I just close the application altogether just now, what we should see is all the other fans go white and the memory should go off. And that's exactly what I'm looking for there. So if I launch the software application again, yep, that's all looking good. And then this time, if I close the application and put the computer to sleep, yeah, so instantly the memory has gone off because it's defaulted to the hardware profile. But as the power gets cut completely to the fans and the pump, they don't display any profile, be it hardware or software, because they're simply not powered up. But when you put the computer to sleep, the RAM technically is still powered on just now. We just don't have a profile for that. I hope that's been helpful for you. If you have any questions, just comment below. Thanks for watching.